Peace be with you. Out here in the West, a lot of times when people try to speak out against what is happening in Palestine, when we try to expose the injustice and the apartheid that is ongoing in the West Bank, when we point that the brutal murder of tens of thousands of children is not acceptable, we get accused of anti-Semitism, which is just another form of racism. And they seek to silence our voices like this. So I want to make this video to talk a little bit about anti-Semitism and racism. Anti-Semitism is just another form of racism directed at a specific population. That's all it is. And it is as vile as any other form. So when they accuse you of this, they're trying to say that you are a vile person and you should not be listened to. They say, if you oppose what we are doing in the West Bank, if you oppose the indiscriminate slaughter of children of Gaza, then you hate Jews. The appropriate answer to that is to ask them, which Jews? These people that are throwing this accusation out are the anti-Semites. They are the anti-Semites because their predisposition is a broad generalization of a large group of people, and to say that they are all the same. If you don't agree with me, if you don't agree with what the right-wing government of Israel is doing, if you don't agree with this brutality, then you hate all the Jews. Which Jews? You think that the Jewish heroes out here in the West that are getting arrested in New York and San Francisco and other places that are striving hard, opposing this injustice, that they're the same as Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich and Benjamin Netanyahu and Daniel Weissman and the settlers and the Israeli soldier that is posing laughing with a woman's lingerie, a woman he just murdered? You think they're the same just because they call themselves Jews? That makes you an anti-Semite. Us people who are not racist, we recognize people by what they do. Whether they're white or black, Jewish or Muslim, we condemn the evildoers and we support the righteous. Speaking of racism, it is these very same people who try to weaponize racism so they can be left alone, murdering children, oppressing people, and forcing a brutal apartheid in the West Bank, brutal colonialization, so they can be left alone to treat other human beings as second-class human beings, so they can enforce checkpoints and collective punishment, and so they can be left alone to murder them indiscriminately in the streets, so they can brutalize them simply because they're of wrong religion. They are the racists. These same racists, these same people who are currently supporting what is happening in Gaza, they're supporting it out of racism, nothing more. Because I know for a fact that if it was their preferred race that was suffering in Gaza, if it was their preferred race whose tens of thousands of children were murdered, if there was their preferred race that had 2 million of them starving, if there was their preferred race that was subjected to a brutal apartheid and ongoing dispossession and ongoing colonization, then they would join me, because my message would not change, because I've learned the lessons from history that shouldn't happen to anyone. Not white, not black, not Jewish, not Muslim, not Christians. So if it was their preferred race suffering in Palestine, then me and them would be fighting the same battle. But because it is not, they are against me and people like me, whether we are Jewish or Muslim, American or Arab or black or African, they are against us and they are calling us racist because we will not co-sign their racism. But if the tables were turned, they would call us freedom fighters because we are fighting for their preferred race. And that is how you know who's racist. If their message and striving changes according to which race is suffering, then they are racist. And if your message does not change, then you are not. So have confidence in that when they accuse you of anti-Semitism and when they accuse you of racism, and continue to speak out. because brutal murder of tens of thousands of children and starving a whole civilian population is simply because of racism. They have no compassion in their hearts simply because of racism. They emigrate illegally from their comfortable homes out here in the West, and they go to the West Bank and they take a poor farmer's land and they burn down their trees and they subject them to checkpoints and apartheid because of racism. Nothing else, because they wouldn't want them done. They would not want that done to them. That is how you know we should all oppose racism. All of us are human beings, and justice is the best way to oppose racism. Do unto others as you would have them done unto you. And this is what these people do not understand. That is why they're doing it. That is why they're supporting it. And that is why they are trying to vilify the rest of us into co-signing their madness. Have confidence that you are on the right path and fight against racism in whatever form it may come. That is what I want to tell people. What they are doing in Palestine is pure racism. Brutal one. No different than what has happened in the past. So whether you call these things genocide or Holocaust or ethnic cleansing, they're all the same thing. And we should learn from history that that shouldn't happen to anyone, not just to a particular race. Peace be with you.